Today, I woke up unemployed after 2.5 years of working full-time. I had previously made a couple videos about working at a Big Four, and today I get to reveal that last week I actually left KPMG. In this video, I'll talk about what I did at KPMG, what my salary progression was like, my experience, and what I'm gonna do moving forward. I'll leave chapters in the bottom so you can jump around to a chapter that you wanna see. So let's get it. So first, I wanted to give an overview about how KPMG works. I think it's the same for all the Big Fours. You basically have your tax team, your audit team, and then at least in KPMG, you have your advisory team. This includes both advisory and consulting. They separate them. I think consulting is more like management consulting focused. I was actually in the advisory team focusing on deals. So the team was called Deal Advisory. And my team would help companies before they made transactions and after they made the transaction. So just keep in mind that this only applies to advisory and consulting. If you're in tax and audit, your numbers and your experience might be a little different than mine. So next up, we go into my salary. Keep in mind that I started working in 2021. Since then, I've heard that KPMG has actually raised salaries for new deal advisory hires. So this might not reflect what fresh grads are making nowadays. But straight out of college, I joined KPMG making $72,000. That was late 2021. So inflation was going crazy. And they actually did something that they never do, which is in the mid-years, which are in March, they actually raised our salaries by $3,000. Which is pretty nice, to $75,000. Then my second year, they bumped up my salary to $86,500 in October, which was nice. That's around a 15% raise. And this is what I meant before with the fact that advisory is different from tax and audit. I've heard that the raises in tax and audit are not that high, so advisory definitely has that going for them. However, the bonus was just a 2% bonus. I think it was like $1,500. And then I worked an entire year with that salary, and on your second year, you're up for promotion. So for me, I was last year, 2023, and last year, it was probably one of the toughest years for KPMG. So it was a pretty scary period, layoffs all around, but I was able to stay, keep my job, and actually get promoted. And I got bumped up to $106,500, which is like a 23% raise, which is pretty cool. However, the bonus was just like 3%. I think it was like $3,000, but given everything, it was nice. And that was the salary that I kept until I quit. Now for the benefits, KPMG is the only company I've worked with, so I have no frame of reference or comparison, but I will say that they're pretty solid. They contribute 5% of your salary no matter what to your 401k, so even if you contribute $0, they still put in 5% of your salary. However, you have to stay 3 years for it to vest, so sadly it didn't vest for me. This is the big one. They give 20 days of PTO starting from your first year, so that's 4 weeks, in addition to giving you the week of July 4th and December 24th to the 31st off. So that's a total of 6 weeks off in your first year, which is pretty insane. If you're interested in becoming a CPA like I was, they pay for your Becker CPA course, they pay for the CPA exam fees, and if you pass all 4 of the CPA exams, you get a nice $5,000 bonus. So it's definitely a plus if you're considering getting your CPA. They have something called Encore Awards, which your superiors can give you points if you do a good job with a particular project, if they're happy with you, if they just want to be nice, they send you points. What I would do is I would accumulate the points and then I would trade them for a $500 Amex gift card. And then the last thing I can remember is that they would contribute $600 to my HSA account. That's an account that you only get if you have a high deductible insurance. If you don't know what that is, that's a whole nother video, but it is a nice benefit. So next up, the hours. This is what everyone wants to know. We've all seen the memes of consultants working insane hours. And honestly, I don't know what it was, but for me, I never felt like I was being overworked. But again, it all depends. So for me, there were 2 types of projects. Long-term projects where you basically were a client's employee, and a short-term project. A company needed to do something and they hired consultants to do it in 4 to 6 weeks. For my long-term projects, the hours were extremely chill. I would say 40, 45 hours max. It was 100% a 9 to 5. You stopped working once your client stopped working. The only times where you had to work a little more than usual was when you had a big steering meeting or a big meeting coming up and you had to put something together. Now, if you have a short-term project, the hours are going to be longer because it's more of a sprint. There would be times that I would work 50, 60 hours in a week. But again, it wasn't terrible compared to the horror stories that you see in the memes or online. I will say that the times that I worked the most was when I was unstaffed. You would think that if you're unstaffed, you're in the beach, you're chilling. And that was not the case for me. When I was unstaffed, I would get a lot of proposal work from many different people. Whereas when you're staffed, you only have to answer to the client, which was nicer for me. And another thing, I don't think I ever worked a weekend in my 2 years at KPMG, which was awesome. But again, I don't know if it was that I was lucky or if that's just how KPMG is. And that transitions nicely into the people. And for this one, I have nothing but good things to say about KPMG. When I joined, they always mention their people. And in my opinion, at least my team, again, very dependent. The people were awesome. They were always willing to help, not cutthroat at all. They give you a lot of pat in the back, which is always nice because it gives you confidence. And I think as long as you have a good attitude and work hard, you won't have any problems. And then lastly, why I left. Clearly have nothing but good things to say about KPMG, but I left because if you're a fan of the channel, I got into an MBA program. I got into Booth. And I actually wanted to take a little break, a little summer break before starting my MBA and potentially just working the rest of my life until I retire. And another question that I get a lot is, am I coming back after my MBA? And the answer is no, because I was doing a lot of qualitative work and I think my biggest strength is that I love numbers and I'm great with numbers. So I want to try something different, more on the finance side. But would I do it again? And the answer is absolutely yes. I'm very happy that I got this job right after college. It was a nice way to ease myself into the workforce. It was stressful at times, but I'm sure it was a lot less stressful as many straight out of undergrad jobs. So I think this job gave me the confidence I needed to tackle a harder job. But if you're thinking of working at KPMG, KPMG is a great company. If you have any questions, if I didn't cover anything, drop them in the comments and I'll answer all of them. Subscribe if you want to keep following my journey. We post videos every Wednesday, so stay tuned for the next one. Peace.